Welcome to Sun City in Focus, a lively look at people, places, events, and lifestyles of the original Sun City.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Brown for Sun City in Focus and the Camera Guild. Welcome to the first edition of Sun City in Focus for 2023. Sun City in Focus, a video magazine, is created for your enjoyment and entertainment entirely by the volunteers of the Sun City in Focus Committee in affiliation with the Camera Guild of Sun City. If you would like to be involved in the production of this video magazine, watch for that information at the end of the show. If you are new to Sun City, well, today we have a segment that will help you discover the amenities available to you. A segment on an interesting personality here in Sun City and odds and ends from the end of 2022. Things that we want to bring you up to date on and or maybe you might have missed. Our first segment today highlights Discover Sun City and all the information on clubs and activities that is available for you, especially if you are a new resident looking for something to fill your day.
Sun City in Focus welcomes you to Discover Sun City, Arizona, the original fun city. A 55-plus active adult community and the model for all other Sun Cities, originating right here in the Sonoran Desert. It all began with an idea to develop a master plan paradise in the Southwest dedicated to a more leisurely lifestyle and unending choices of recreation for the retired active adult. Sun City, Arizona has flourished since those early years into an unsurpassed leader of active adult communities and is known all over the world for its incredible value and invigorating vitality. Sun City offers boundless opportunities to be active and participate. You can find information on all of these choices at the Sun City Visitors Center, or read about them in the monthly Sun Views publication. Volunteerism is an important activity that you could participate in. There are 11 standing committees within the RCSC that you could pick from, or many independent organizations within the community. Sun City Prides work hard all year long to keep the 210 miles of streets, parkways, and medians in Sun City clean and neat. How about taking a ride along with the Posse Patrol? If you are looking for something more physically active, we have water, paddles, rackets, and more.
How many of you get out of bed in the morning and say, yes, I get to go play pickleball today? Yeah, that's what I thought. It's an addiction.
You've thrown. It will show you your launch speed, your impact angles, and your break points. A lot of it's not going to mean a lot of it to you as not being a professional, but it will show you consistency.
With more than 120 clubs, there is a variety of arts and crafts or social activities to consider.
I've taken a mold and I'm putting glass around it to fix the mold, but I'm designing in my own pattern.
I boiled and now I'm in the soldering process, which is pretty much the finishing touching except for your framing. So I'm just putting the solder on where your foil is.
Some of our activity choices can be found at more than one location, giving you many options.
You guys are having fun. We are. This is the place. It's a daily thing, okay?
Any chance we get. It's like a bad habit. It's called opening up the place. I'm establishing the bottom.
Sold. How much?
20. You get a discount today. I'm a tea maker. I just like
Roll out the barrel, we'll have a barrel of fun.
To Wisconsin Days. Right here, the Wisconsin Club at the Sun Bowl every year puts on this shindig the second Thursday of the month of March. And I am telling you, they get thousands of people. And if you're not wearing black, wear red.
If you're gonna play Sun City, you gotta have a fiddle in the band. And a lead guitar is hopping up for Arizona man.
Well, that's just a few of the activities the In Focus Committee has recorded during the past year and a half. There are a lot more clubs and activities on the list for us to cover this coming year. Watch for us coming to YouTube soon.
Wow, with over 120 clubs and organizations to pick from, you could really keep busy here in Sun City. Remember to check out the Visitor Center or the Sunviews paper for further information. Next up, we would like to introduce you to one of your neighbors who just happens to be an award-winning author and champion race walker.
Dateline Sun City. There are over 38,000 folks in our neighborhood. Here in the original Sun City, and In Focus's Talk of the Town is working to record all of our neighbors' life stories. In this episode, we get to meet an award-winning author and champion speed walker. Let's join Dan C's conversation with this interesting Sun City neighbor.
Hi, Shay. How you doing? Good. Have a great day.
you too.
Well, we have some really interesting people in Sun City, and Shay is just one of them. Why don't you come with me and we'll learn a little bit more about her? Hey, Shay, come on over. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, been a long time.
Yeah.
Y'all doing your regimen today?
I am.
Yeah? You know, I hear that you're a race walker.
I
Is
am,
that right?
yes.
Well, I know about walking.
Uh-huh.
I know about racing, but I don't know what it means to put the two together.
Well, race walking, there's a couple different forms of walking competitions. One's power walking,
Okay.
and one's race walking. In race walking, you have to have one foot on the ground at all times, and when you bring each foot forward and you put your heel on the ground, your knee can't be bent.
Oh.
Yeah, you'll get a warning card if you bend your
We
knee.
don't want that, do we?
Or if you have both feet off the ground at the same time. So when you're race walking, you're really walking in a straight line, and your hips are moving back and forth. Sometimes when you look at a race walker from behind, it looks like you're going in a figure eight, and your intention is for the hips to just go back and forth. In power walking, you have to have one foot on the ground at all times, but you can bend your knee in front. So it's a little easier.
It's a different technique.
Yeah, yeah.
More difficult than normal walking. So race walking, something that is not real common to someone like myself here in Sun City.
What started as a high society pastime in the Victorian era became a constant fixture at the Olympic Games since 1904. It all started prior to 1901, when noblemen started betting on their footmen, who walked along beside their employers' horse-driven coaches. It came to be known as pedestrianism and made its way to the United States in the late 19th century. It caught on as a spectacle sport, with participants walking nearly 1,000 kilometers in 6 days inside packed indoor arenas. Race walking made its debut at the St. Louis Olympics in 1904 as part of today's version of the decathlon, and it became a standalone sport at the 1908 London Olympics.
Right.
How is it you got involved with that?
In 2015, my spouse and I were stranded in the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport. It was the same year that the National Senior Games were going on there. So I was walking around the airport and saw this huge billboard for the National Senior Games. And immediately I sat down and started looking through all the National Senior Games sports to find one that I thought I might want to compete in. And I thought about archery, I thought about cycling, and then I came across race walking and I didn't even know what it was.
Sure.
So I started researching it on the internet, found out it's an Olympic sport.
It is?
Yeah, they do 20 kilometers and 50 kilometers in the Olympics, and it's been a sport in the Olympics since the early 1900s. But in the National Senior Games, there's the 1,500 meters and the 5K races. And I found out that you use 98% of your muscles when you race walk.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier on the body than running. And so I really wanted to choose a sport that I thought I could potentially do for the rest of my life. So I thought race walking sounded
So you did that for your own self-enrichment.
Yeah.
And it turned into a competitive sport for you?
Right. And
so how does one train for an event like this?
well, when you first start out race walking, it takes a while to just even learn the form because it's pretty intricate and difficult. So first, it takes maybe 3 to 6 months to just learn the form. And you start at whatever level you are in terms of your fitness. If you can, walk 3 miles, then you just start walking 3 miles and then increase the frequency. When you're getting ready for a big event like the National Senior Games, you might go through a series of adding mileage and then right before the event, cut back, or go through cycles of increasing mileage and then cutting back.
So is your training self-induced, or do you have like a coach or a group of people you do it with?
Mostly I train alone, but I've had the good fortune in the race walking community, you get to know people because it's kind of a small community in the United States. In other countries it's a bigger deal, but in the US you get to meet Olympic coaches, Olympic athletes, people who are elite walkers, and they're mostly all willing to share their wisdom and their expertise.
That's great.
So I've gotten some coaching.
And so you moved into some races.
Yes.
And you competed.
Yes.
And you won, maybe?
Well, my ultimate goal was to go to the National Senior Games and see how I could do. The first year, it was in 2017 in Birmingham, Alabama. And I just did the 1,500 meters against 2 of the fastest women. The 2 fastest women overall were in my age group. And I was able to get a silver medal that year against the woman who has the national age group record for the 1,500 meters. It happens every 2 years, the National Senior Games. And so the next time I went was in 2019 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I wasn't able to compete with these 2 fast women because they split our age groups, the 2 heats for the women, right in between our age groups. But I was still able to get 2 gold medals in both events that year. I set a national age group record in the 1,500 meters and got the fastest time for all the women.
Well, you are a
overall.
superstar, aren't you?
About 5 years before I became a race walker, I became a grief educator.
Oh.
And it was at a time when my family and I were going through some pretty intense losses. I started working on a book called Doing Grief in Real Life on grief and healing. And there was one point when I got to work on the book full time. So instead of sitting at a desk all day, I jumped on a stationary recumbent bike. And I would just keep my body moving while I was writing and editing. And that's when I really discovered that exercise can be a wonderful medicine. Over the past decade or so, I've been working on a new way to view the grieving process, and was able to put together from all the grief research a new paradigm of the grieving process to help grievers when they're going through losses, to be able to sort of become their own best grief expert, to understand the process and to understand their own unique preferences and tendencies for grieving and their needs for healing.
And it's different for every person, I presume.
It is.
So you're writing the book, and I understand that you've done some chaplain's work in the past?
Yeah.
Through the hospital?
Yeah, I was a full-time staff chaplain at Banner Del Webb Medical Center for a while, and then I went to part-time so that I could help start a new project here in Sun City called doing Grief Community Healing Project. The home base for the project will be at the Church of the Palms right here in Sun City.
Oh, very local.
Yeah.
And that's going to happen next year sometime?
Yeah, we're starting some programs in January, and we'll probably have a grand opening in the fall sometime.
And there'll be an outreach to the community to share that service?
Yeah, we'll be offering grief education, we'll be offering healing through the arts, healing through contemplative prayer and meditation practices, and spiritual care.
All
for
wonderful
grievers and
things, wonderful
healers.
things. Things that we need here in Sun City for
Yeah,
ourselves as well.
I think so.
So we look forward to that happening here
Thank
in our
you.
local area for sure. Yeah. Well, you said something earlier about things that had happened in your life that kind of sparked you into this change of behavior and health enrichment.
Yeah.
And there's some spiritual background to that, is that right?
Yeah, sure. I found that race walking was kind of a meditation for me. And that's one of the reasons why I don't mind not having somebody to walk with. I'd really love to on my, on the hard days when you're doing intervals, you like having somebody to do it with. But mostly when I go walking, it's just sort of a meditative state. I can clear my thoughts, and it just feels like when I'm done, I just feel more whole.
It's very cleansing, very cleansing for sure.
Yeah.
So are there other people here in Sun City that kind of do the same kind of race walking as you?
I don't know any. I've met people who've seen me walking and said, I used to do that, or those of us who've done it feel bonded for life.
For sure, for sure.
But I don't know anybody who competes from Sun City.
Okay, all right.
If anybody wants to, maybe they can come out sometime to the track and I can teach them the form.
Thanks, Dan, for introducing us to Shay. Her book is very timely for here in Sun City, and she really walks fast. Did you have to run to keep up with her? Last up, today we have a group of short subjects. These are topics we promised to follow for you, and also events that you might have missed at the end of 2022.
On your mark. Get set. Go.
Right across the finish line. One, two, three.
Merry Christmas.
Welcome to Discover Sun City, Arizona. It's great to see everybody here. Life really is what you make it, and nowhere is that more true in Sun City, Arizona.
So I'm Bill Cook, I'm the general manager. I'm located at the Lakeview facility, so my door is always open. You can always come talk to me. We're reasonably priced. $525 a year gets you everything in this room, all the golf courses, all the bowling alleys. If you look at all other communities here and nationally, you're going to find that this is a bargain.
And you can come and try it.
That was quite the parade with over 70 decorated golf carts. What fun! And have you looked at the lake recently? It really looks larger now that the water is gone, and you can still go to Lakeview and walk around it for exercise. The In Focus Committee would like to thank you for taking the time to view our production today. Give us a like below if you enjoyed it. And of course, we couldn't have produced it without all of the fine volunteers from the Camera Guild. If you're interested in joining us, we'd love to talk to you about it. You can work behind the scenes, run a camera, or be a face on camera. All you have to do to get started is to send an email to the address below, and we'll get in touch with you. I'm Rebecca Brown for Sun City in Focus. See you next time.
This show was produced by volunteer members from the RCSC Sun City in Focus Committee for the entertainment and enjoyment of current and prospective residents of Sun City, Arizona. Anyone wishing to join the committee and participate in the production of future episodes of this program may contact the RCSC Board of Directors office at 623-561-4600 or email boardoffice@suncityaz.org.